Heart Nation. Hey, it is your host, Carla J, the queen of Heart to Heart Inspiration. And we are joined by another awesome guest today. It is one that you don't want to miss. You want to really enjoy this podcast today. And this is Andrew Bullard, and he is here. He is a filmmaker and musician, and he is from Chattanooga, Tennessee. He was born in Germany while his father served in the U.S. Army. He earned his BA in communications from the University of Tennessee. Clap it up for University of Tennessee at Chattanooga. In 2014, not long after graduating, a family member challenged him to explore filmmaking, and we're going to learn some more about that, sparking the idea for this short film, Ain't God All Right, in 2020, which he wrote, directed, and paired with an original soundtrack. He followed that award-winning short with breakout feature Film Access Control in 2022, which along with his third and most personal film, The Solution, it has been nominated for Most Inspirational Film at the International Christian Film Festival. The Solution is now a multi-award-winning feature film, explores the themes of faith, family, and healing. Andrew Styles draws from real-life experiences using personal stories to encourage and uplift others. So without any further ado, welcome to the stage, Andrew Bullard.
Hey, I appreciate that intro. That was a good intro.
How are you?
I'm doing great. Really excited.
Yes. So I just want to thank you for being on the show on Carla's channel, and we're going to get right into it. So Andrew, you have two movies out right now. You have one movie on Access Control on Tubi, and you have The Solution on Tubi.
So my short film, that's on Plex as well. So you can check that out. Ain't God All Right. Start back in 2020 that kind of started everything. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. So we're just going to get right into it. Sometimes when people say, oh, they're just on Tubi, that isn't nothing. Those aren't real actors. What do you have to say to that?
Well, they're making real money. So, right now, like Tubi is it's a huge platform and it's getting more curated. It's not as easy to get on there right now as it used to be. Okay. So, it's the place, the biggest place right now for us indie filmmakers to be seen and to make some money. So, hey, say what you want, Tubi actor, whatever, but the movie is on there. It's on some other platforms as well. So, hey.
I love that. And Tubi is only going to get bigger, right? Because they have other films on there, big films, mainstream films, if you will, Hollywood films are on there, and they are expanding and expanding. So it's only going to get bigger. So like you're saying, you're making real money, and that's what counts. What does your family say when they say, when you tell them you're on TV or you have a film? What is their reactions like?
It can vary, you know what I mean? But my family, for the most part, is very supportive of, what I do. My sister was telling me, because she's in Detroit she's living in Detroit right now. And she was doing hair for one of her clients, and she put the movie on. And then the client was like, man, I see a lot of your family members' names on these credits. Because a lot of family members either helped on set, behind the scenes, or donated, so, I have a real supportive family. But, you have some family members that, what you really doing, so.
Okay, that is true. Like in any family, right?
Yeah.
That you may have that. So I too saw a lot of family names, or I wouldn't say that, the same name. Anybody you want to give a shout out to in your family that's been a part of the films, or friends?
Well, yeah, a lot of people probably noticed my dad's name was on there, Andrew J. Bullard III. And, he was a producer on there, gave us a lot of money. I got him to do a cameo too. It was funny with that because he was like, now, son, I didn't want to be in the movie. I just wanted to help you make it. But I think once he saw the final product, he realized what I was doing there, because The Solution is really based on my relationship. So, getting him in the movie was a nice touch. So I was glad I was able to pull that off.
That's good. And I really enjoyed The Solution. I saw The Solution on Prime Video, and it's really good. And it has a lot of themes in it. So Tell us about, now you grew up in Germany. Well, no, it says you're born in Germany. How long did you stay in Germany?
Germany was just 3 years. That's where I was born. My sister was born there too. And then we moved all over because my dad was in the military until I was 13. Wow. Lived in Korea, lived in Hawaii, Pennsylvania, Georgia, Kansas, Kentucky. We lived all over the place until he retired and came back home. Both him and my mom are from Chattanooga. So then we moved here and I've been here ever since.
Okay, so you're still in Chattanooga now?
Still in Chattanooga. Yeah.
What is the film industry like in Chattanooga?
It's growing. You know, they have a Chattanooga Filmmakers Guild, and it's really kind of helping to grow the local scene. You know, we're in a prime location right here because we're kind of smack dab in between like Atlanta, Nashville, Knoxville. So, okay. You know, and it's a beautiful city too. So, you know, I think we're on the rise. We're coming up.
For us American folks, how was that growing up in Germany? Did you speak a different language?
Well, there's 3 years in Germany, so I don't really. My godmother is still there, but I don't really remember Germany that much. Like Korea, I really remember vividly. I had a good friend there named Dennis Cho. Now he lives in Atlanta, of all places, from Korea. But Hawaii, I really remember well. But you know, dealing with change and moving constantly, it kind of helps. So you can kind of adapt to change and just getting to meet new people. And, you know, I think that was a blessing too. You meet so many different kinds of people when you're in the military. So that was awesome.
That's true. Do you think that helped you be able to take on this challenge of becoming a filmmaker?
Definitely. You know, being able to deal with change, because there's, you know, things are constantly changing when you're trying to make a film. So, and then being able to deal with people, because you got to deal with all kinds of different types of people that are doing so many different kind of things. So yes, I think that definitely helped. And, you know, there were some downsides when you're moving. Like, you know, it's like, man, I got to leave these friends again and stuff like that. And I think that's why when I did move to Chattanooga, I kept a lot of friends because I was like, hey, you ain't moving? Like, you know, so got friends for over 20 years now. So.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. Tell us, how did this come about, you getting into film in the first place?
Well, I was in a group chat with my cousins and we started talking about Christian film, and she challenged me and was kind of asking, you know, like, I'm surprised you've never got into Christian film. Like, you know what I mean? She was just kind of bringing some of my qualities, and I was doing music already. So I kind of had the idea, well, why don't I do like a short film and then do a soundtrack with it? So that's the idea I had. And then that's where Ain't God All Right came about. So, but then when I put that out, the response was great. You know, got a lot of accolades. A lot of people enjoyed it. So I was like, okay, well, why don't I continue on this journey? So then that's when I did Access Control, and then now here with The Solution. Yeah.
Well, that is awesome. And what made you do Christian? What made you do Christian? Are you in the church? You're a minister? How did that come about?
Well, yeah, I'm a minister. My dad's a pastor. My mom's a preacher. Grandparent, you know, we got all kind of preachers in the family.
Okay.
So, you know, grew up in a Christian home. So like with my music, you know, you definitely hear my faith in that. But I've always been passionate about Christian entertainment at a young age. Because like when you grow up, you know, as a pastor's kid, and you know, things are really strict and you got to listen and watch certain things. You want to watch something that's good too. You just don't want to watch something about God. I want to watch something that's good. So I was really passionate about, like, I want to help, you know, there to be more good Christian content. So. Okay.
I love the Christian aspect. Now, Tubi also kind of gets I don't know what you want to say, a bad rep about all the nudity, all the sex in it and things like that. Were you, or do you have a hard time getting your type of film on there? Any you know, backlash from you not having that? Do you think you get any?
Maybe it's not as hard as getting on there, but, you know, getting seen, kind of breaking through the noise sometimes can be difficult and stuff like that. And, you know, there are people that's like, you got to do this in order to be successful. But I feel like I learned a lot of things with Access Control on like how to market a film to like a lot of the audiences that are on Tubi and whatnot. So to me, I look at it as a challenge. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, I'm going to break through. And once, you know, with Access Control, like a lot of the, you know, comments I would get, like a lot of people enjoyed the film and they were surprised. They're like, oh, I enjoyed that they had a good message too. And there wasn't any of this and there wasn't any of that. And even like with right now, you know, the hot film right now is the Ruth and Boaz movie on Netflix. And a lot of the comments I've seen from that are like people like, oh, I want more content like this that doesn't have this and doesn't have that. So there's an audience out there, believe it or not.
That's awesome, because I do hear that a lot me interviewing a lot of actors and actresses, or filmmakers, they'll say, what do you all want to see? When I put out that type of content, you don't seem interested. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that you're saying that. Get it out if that's your passion.
Yeah.
Would you say that?
Definitely. Yeah, I definitely would agree with that. Yeah.
So you had this challenge from your cousins in your group chat. Your cousins, right?
Well, it's my cousin, but my other cousins were in there to witness that. But
so now it's like, okay, what was the challenges that you faced? How did you even get started? I'm sure there's some people in our audience who may want to get into filmmaking or acting. What did you do? What first step did you take?
Well, I think the thing that helped a little bit with Ain't God All Right is I had done like some music videos before, mainly with like coming up with the concept, getting the actors. I wasn't really behind the camera, but I kind of had to help put those together. So that experience helped. And then what I was doing was just like thinking and writing within budget. So I was thinking about, okay, like what locations do I have access to? Okay, my apartment. I'm in here right now. I'm in here for free, but I paid for it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So then, the church, I use that. I use UTC, the college I went to. I used the locations and things that I had access to. You know what I mean? I thought about a story that would be relatable and whatnot. Okay. And I was able to get a crew and everything and go from there. So, but from then on, I still write within budget. And I tell a lot of filmmakers that come to me or they want to get a start. I'm like, they have these elaborate ideas. I'm like, that's a nice idea, but that's going to cost you $500,000 and you ain't going to get the money back. So, you got to write within budget.
Okay. And what would you say you set your budget around?
For Ain't God All Right, it was really low. Like, probably only spent like a couple grand making Ain't God All Right. And
so
it was easy to get that back. Yeah, since it didn't take that much to make it, it was easy to get that money back. With the last film, The Solution, the budget was about $15K. But which is still, but you make it work. I mean, you have I think too with Ain't God All Right, I hadn't done anything. So when I did a GoFundMe, I got a little bit of donations, but not much. And people were like, I don't know. But then once they saw Ain't God All Right, when I did Access Control, I got a lot of more donations and people willing to help with certain things, and even more so with this last film. So, once you kind of get the ball rolling, you get some momentum, more people want to, okay, I see what you're doing. Like, and you get people that come up, hey, I want to be in your next movie. I want
Right, because now they trust you. You've built some trust in this audience, and they're like, okay, we want to be in there. Okay, y'all, we're going to play the trailer to The Solution.
You contacted me from time now to let you know your father, Oscar, he had a stroke. He's going to have to make some serious lifestyle changes.
You're going to the dry cleaners to help Cynthia.
I came back here to help you, not to work at the dry cleaners.
Well, this is what I need help with, son. The business. See, I always wanted to leave the business to my son eventually.
Alice, the prodigal son returns. How's it going, Mr. Bell?
He never really been on board. And, he's working for the same competitor. They're trying to buy me out.
Let's see if your dad would sell us Advanced Resolutions.
Now, Oscar, you've seen the financial report. Things have been trending down for quite some time now, and I really don't see it getting any better in this climate.
Have you prayed about it?
I don't really want our dry cleaners to be what it could be. I talk to God about it all the time. This man, I just can't really do anything about it,
I see.
If you can just get out of your own way for this one moment, I can help you. I'm gonna get along, but the dry cleaners are still. Gotta play some cards. I've felt my whole life. Come on and walk away. That's what you do, man. I give me all of that.
You know you're making the best decision.
You know what, son? I need you to go down to the food court and get me one of them hot dogs I like.
Read an article that said every hot dog you eat takes away about 40 minutes away from your life.
Good. It can take 40 minutes off this waiting room.
I worked to put that trailer together, man. I tell y'all.
Love it. I love it. The trailer, you said, tell us, how did you pick those different scenes to be in the trailer?
Man, it was so hard. It was around like Christmas time last year, and I was just getting so frustrated making that trailer. My wife, she helped out a little bit. So I'd take a break because I'd be so frustrated. Then she'd come up with a good idea here to get this clip, get that one. I know I wanted that montage in there kind of towards the end and whatnot, but like editing a trailer can be very hard because, you've worked on the whole entire piece. And then it's like, oh, so now I got to put this in a couple of minutes to present it to you.
Right. Good job, wifey Destiny. So I couldn't even imagine putting together a trailer for that. It's hard enough for me trying to edit my podcast episode. So I feel that So do you do your own editing and things like that?
Just for like the trailers, I've done the editing for that. For the films, no, you know what I mean. I'm drained from filming, so I kind of I give my notes and stuff like that, and work with the editor. Eric's was the editor we worked with for this film. He did a great job, but yeah, I just do a little bit of editing here and there.
So we do have a question in the chat, and then you could tell us about how the solution came to be and what you want the audience to get from it. So Inspiration Nation says, speak on starting, despise not the day of small beginnings.
Oh, like
that's a Bible verse.
Do not despise small beginnings. I think, I'd say that a lot to people, because I think even for actors, sometimes, you might not want to be in a project because you're like, oh, it's too small. They ain't doing nothing. It's like, you don't know what that person's going to be doing in 5 years from now. So get on that train while it starts. There were a couple of actors that, I pretty much gave them the role when it came to Ain't Got All Right, my first film, because I didn't know what I was doing. I really didn't know how to cast and stuff like that. And, a couple of those people blew me off. And then now they come back, try to like, hey, so I'm like, hey, that train doesn't pass, you know what I mean? I got love for you, but so, you just never know what God can do. So yeah, definitely don't despise small beginnings. You'll know what something's going to turn into. That's
right. And I've heard that from many filmmakers and actors that I've interviewed. Even if you're an extra, they're like, don't look at it as this is nothing, because you don't know what somebody may see in you and where they may ask you to go and be a part of. So thank you for that. Thank you for asking the question.
And directors, we have to pay attention to everything. So like we see even when the extras like, oh, this person came on time. Oh, they did what we asked them to do. So we pay attention to people, and you want to work with people that are easy to work with. So, if you come in, you do a good job, you help promote the film, we're looking for you to, hey, we need you again.
That's awesome. I love that. Now, tell us about the solution. I know when you and I talked a little bit, you really want to just kind of talk about the theme behind it, and you and your dad's relationship.
Yeah, so like when I was coming after Access Control, doing a comedy, like I had a lot of different ideas on what I wanted to do next. And like the father-son thing just kind of kept coming up, but I was like, maybe I'll make it the side plot, a B plot, but it just kept coming up to the point where like, okay, I just got to tell this story. So, a lot of it's just really based on my relationship with my dad, and like the dry cleaners is kind of a metaphor for the church in a sense. And, so, we've had a lot of ups and downs with our relationship. So, just to kind of show that in this movie, and then like the butting of heads with the father and son, and then showing that, how there will be love there one moment, and then it's like this frustration the next, so I really wanted to dive into that with this project, and I was able to get a great cast. Derek D, who plays the father, was awesome. Like my dad was so happy. He be acting like it's him. Like he's like, man, I'm so glad you got him to play me, because he was in this other Christian film called Why We Breathe, and he was great in that. So my dad was so happy that he played the role, but he just was able to nail it as far as bringing the humor, the drama out of the character, but he was able to be tender in certain moments, and so he was awesome. And then Chanel, who played the love interest, and just on down the line, we had a great cast.
You did. I can really see that it looked like you all had a good time. And then you have put out the other day on your Facebook page, you have put out like somebody with the potato chip bag.
Oh, the interesting facts, some of the facts about the film. Yeah, I know you probably like that one because when we were playing, there's a card game in the film, and we had to cut the air conditioning off for filming. A lot of times you got to cut the air conditioning off because you'll hear that in the background. And man, it got hot in this apartment. It got over 90 degrees in here. But and then the ladies in the scene, they were adamant about because we're playing spades. They're like, we got to get it right. We got to get it right. They're going to go in on us in the tuba group. We got to get it right. You know what I mean? And it was funny because a lot of our crew members were Caucasian, so they didn't understand the cultural significance of the moment. They were like, "It's the end of the day. This is the last. Let's get this over with." They were just. It was so funny because they were just like, "Why is this scene taking so long?" And the ladies like, "No, we get this right."
Right, because they will eat you up in those comments.
Yeah, they still gonna probably find something in there, but yes, and that was one. And then you mentioned the potato chip bag. Carter, who plays Marshall, like in his audition, he just decided to use the bag of potato chips, and like I just fell out laughing as soon as I saw his audition, and had to show my wife you gotta look at this. So, he ended up getting the role, but we, it was funny when he came on set. No, or even in the table reads, we were like, where's your chips, man? You gotta have the bag of chips. So, we made him have it, in all the rehearsals and on set. So
wow, you all should get a sponsorship from that potato chip company.
Nah, we had to use a plastic bag. So we were careful not to get sued. I mean, we would have gave Lay's and reach out to us on the next one. We'll give you some money.
I love it. I love it. So what do you have next? What is your vision for you and your filmmaking, and what do you have next?
Well, I'm writing right now. Who knows what's going to happen with some of the things I'm writing right now. I've been kind of working on an idea that would be like a thriller, but I'm not sure, we'll see. You just never know what God will do. So I'm definitely going to be doing more faith-based content. I love to do this, and also too with the soundtracks too, because you can check out the soundtrack for all of my projects like The Solution and Access Control. And, I even do a lot of the storytelling with that as well. So I enjoy that too. So yeah.
Will it be Christian based?
Oh, definitely. It'll still be faith based, but I can't give too many details about it if we end up doing it. But yeah.
I love the suspense. I love it. I love it. So one thing I like to ask my guests, two things, is if you have some words of encouragement to give someone, because we're all about the inspiration, what would you say to someone who is, going through something right now and they're trying to attain their dreams? What would you say to them?
Just keep going. One of the days I always think about is when I did Access Control. Even though it was a comedy film, it was hectic behind the scenes. And like the second day, because I was just so drained, so tired. Like the first day was a 16-hour day. The second day was pretty close to that. And like, I was just like, I didn't think we were doing all that well, but my wife was like, no, we're doing good. And I was just like, because I was ready to be like, the heck with this, everybody can go home. But, she was like, no, we got to keep going. We're doing really good. And, the next day was a lot, smoother. And then just being able to get that film done. And it was like, I'm so glad I didn't give up. Sometimes we want to give up when we're only halfway there. In order for you to quit, it's like you going on a journey, you quit and go back home. Well, you spent the same amount of time, if you were halfway there. So just keep going.
I love that. Keep going, y'all. And what is one quote that you're living by today?
Quote, man. When you said that, the quote I was thinking about was 50 Cent from Get Rich or Die Trying.
Well, hey, if that's it, that's it.
When he said, I'd rather die like a man than live like a coward. So I apologize. I know. But that's okay. That came to mind. But to me, why I love that quote is like, I'd rather do what God is telling me to do rather than, just do what somebody else wants me to do and what I don't want to do, just to feel like to make it by, So that's why I feel like with pursuing your passions and your goals and your dreams and what you feel like God has called you to do, it takes a lot to do that. But it's, to me, it's like, I'd rather choose that path. I'd rather die like a man than live like a cow.
There you go, y'all. I love that saying. So in the audience, what are you going to do today to make a change and make a difference, to live your dream and not die like a coward? So I love it. Any last words you want to share with us? Any shout outs before we wrap?
Well, no, I got the quote wrong. I'd rather die like a man than live like a coward. That's where I got it. Yeah, there you go.
Die like a man. Then
I'd rather die like a man than live like a coward. There we go.
Okay. All right. Yeah, don't let 50 Cent come after us, y'all. Talking about we messed it up.
Oh.
I love it. I love it. It still has meaning. It still has life. So as we get ready to wrap up, we thank you for spending some time with us. We can't wait to get you back on to see what else you got going on. And shout out to Tennessee, Chattanooga. Y'all coming up there. And all the actors out there, if you're starting small, just keep going. Okay. If that's your desire, just keep going. It's going to all come out together, and you're going to have a, ending just like Andrew got with his films, and tell us all the film awards that you got.
Man, I can't remember all of them, but we've been blessed. We won Best Feature with the Top Indie Film Awards. That's one that comes to mind. We won Best Music with them as well. That's the couple that are coming to mind. But there's a lot of accolades we won. If you look on thesolutionmovie.com, you'll see the full list of accolades that we've got for this film. A lot of the actors in our film got some accolades too. So
right.
Derek, who played the father, he won Best Actor and a Best Supporting Actor. And then Chanel, she really racking them up. She got like 3 wins, 3 nominations. Candace won an award. So, I mean, it's been awesome working with, a great team. When you got a great cast, you just let them work. I mean, that's the good thing to do with directing. Just find the right people. Then you don't have to do nothing. So
I love it. And you had some great actors and diverse. You had a very diverse cast as well. Yeah. So kudos to you for that. And we're going to close up. And we just want to say also today is International Podcast Day. So if you haven't followed my channel already, please do subscribe.
Wait, no. What are you waiting on? Yeah.
Yes, please do. And then you can also find Andrew on Facebook. Tell them where they can find you, Andrew.
You can find at AJB4 Entertainment. It's everything film and music, or at AJB4. On Instagram is my personal page at AJB4.music or at AJB4 Entertainment. So if you go to my website, AJB4.com, you'll be able to find all my projects. So, and just thank you so much, Carla, for the opportunity.
My pleasure. All right, Heart Nation. Thank you so much for joining us. And we'll be back next Tuesday. Until then, take care. And we'll see you next week. Thanks, Andrew.
Appreciate it. See y'all.